Skoda, simply clever.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news to the minute. A rise in April employment that overshoots 15,000 plus jobs created. The unemployment rate falls on the news to 5.5%. Had been sitting at 5.6. The call was that we would just stick at that level. As well, full-time employment shoot the lights out, 34,500 for the month of April. The participation rate, 65.3. That's better than expected. The call had been for 65.1. Just to repeat, better than expected numbers for April, 15,100. The call was for 12,000 to be added. A fall, therefore, in the unemployment rate, down from 5.6 to 5.5%. A fresh bid goes into the Australian dollar. Can we animate? Can we have a look and see what the local unit is doing? You can see it just holding around that 101.87 handle now, and actually going up. It did above the 101.90 points. So coming into play now, potentially some resistance around the 102 exact on that mark. We'll see if we can get there as we now bring in our guest Simon Bolton from Macleod, Cameron Judson from Chandler, Macleod. It's been very noisy of late, but does this give you some comfort, particularly, Simon, when you look at that full-time build for the month of April?
Yeah, I think good news here, Carson. There's some positivity around. I mean, seeing those financial services stock prices and some news out of the States, I think this is very encouraging. Certainly the expectations were for it remaining flat.
Yeah, but expectations this week have been dashed because economists are God, but suddenly they're real. To you on this one as well, Cameron Judson, what else do we need to see? Tell me about that participation rate rising. How important is that to lock in these gains?
I think that's a positive in terms of more people looking for work. I'm seeing three emerging themes in the marketplace. One which is those customers preparing for the upswing, those customers looking to do more with less, and other customers trying to downsize rate given that their circumstances are different.
A remarkably mixed approach.
Well, that's
Where's
what we're
consistency?
seeing. Yeah, we're not seeing consistency, Carson.
What's the worry? Steve Shepherd from Randstad in Melbourne, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'd support what Cameron's seeing there. We're still seeing a lot of inconsistency across the market, perhaps a lot of wait and see. I'm not sure what those part-time numbers look like there, but we've seen, you know, almost this sort of seesaw each month of when part-time numbers are up, full-time are down, and then the next month it transitions and you're seeing that into full-time. So I'm not sure if that's the case here, but
all right, Simon Bolton from Macleod, aggregate hours worked rising 10.9 million. What's important as well is the state by state, because we had seen, have we not, WA, a bit of a concerning creep up, kind of disproportionate to the rest of the nation. You'll be wanting to watch that, I'm sure, but hours worked. What does that story tell us?
More for less, Carson. I think it's just, you know, at the moment, those costs are still front of mind, and the message from corporates is, let's do the same as what we're doing, or do more than what we're doing, with less resources. Simon,
back to you, Steve Shepherd at Randstad. I can tell you the split was part-time employment rose 15,600, fully eclipsed by that full-time build of 34,500. Is that consistent with doing more with less, or is that actually longer-term planning showing through?
I think that you could argue that perhaps we're seeing some early signs of that, as we've said, that, you know, it's been a lot about steady as she goes over the last few months, and as I said, we've seen that fluctuation between part-time and perm. To see those both rising at the same numbers gives some insight that maybe there's a little bit more confidence out there than is perhaps coming through right now.
Just to clarify on those remarks, Cameron.
Yes.
More with less. Are you saying there is downward pressure on wages in this environment?
We're seeing two issues at play there, Carson. One is there's downward pressure on hiring intentions, but there's also then downward pressure on intent to pay, being wage pressure in terms of, particularly in the supply chains and mining and construction, where wage deflation is probably a reality.
Simon, smooth it all out if you could, because last month it's like, you know, feast and famine territory, is it not? You know, what do we see on a broader 4-month running average across on an annualised basis?
I mean, I think the expectations are for unemployment to grow marginally. I think that's being shown. I mean, we're up and down.
Well, it's not being shown. It's fallen today. I know, but surely we look at the headline unemployment rate, therefore, get rid of the noise on month. The trend is actually static. It's not growing. No, clearly from 5.6 to 5.1, it ain't growing.
Yeah, but we've had figures that have gone up and down over every time we sit here during the month.
That's why I'm saying the unemployment rate is the one you look to, right?
It should be, but it's not giving us the the information.
So we
that
have
expect
no
it to.
signal therefore. What is the signal you look to?
The signal would be the unemployment rates trend, and the trend I think has been that it's marginally increasing or staying flat.
Right.
I think that's where we are. I think that's what's going to be. It's a I guess a feature of cutting costs. It's a feature of being more productive, and it's a feature of just organisations finding better ways to do things.
Same old same, basically.
Same.
All right, so there we have it. That's our analysis. Let's get some economic views. Janu Chan from St George. Janu, the call yet again was wrong from your kith and kin. How so?
Good morning, Carson. Well, it has been a little bit difficult to read, and there